So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do like an introduction, and then we'll get into our questions, okay?
Mm-hmm.
All right, let me just pull up. Thank you for doing this with me.
You're welcome.
This is get people to learn a little bit more about you, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Very professional interview. Okay. All right. You can't look at my questions. I'm going to ask them.
Sorry.
So this is Autismy Goodness. My name is Tiffany, and I have a special guest today. What would you like to call you? James or Juju?
James Jones.
Okay, I'll call you James.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? All right. So James, I'm going to ask you a few questions. Thank you for coming here to do this with me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to ask you some questions so we can get to know a little something about you, okay?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So how old are you?
I am 18 years old.
Okay. And when is your birthday?
July 29th.
Okay. Do you go to school?
Yes.
Do you know the name of your school?
Clarkston School.
Okay. And what 3 things do you do at school? You want to do one? Start one? Okay, what's one thing?
One.
What's the first thing you could think of you do at school? What's one thing you do? We're going to name 3 things, okay?
Yeah.
Give me one thing first.
Doing deliveries.
Say it one more time.
Doing deliveries.
Okay, what kind of deliveries?
School deliveries.
Okay, at different schools?
Yeah.
Okay, second thing? What second thing you do at school? Where do you go somewhere twice a week? Where do you go twice a week?
I go to St. Vincent.
Say it one more time.
St. Vincent.
St. Vincent? Okay. And what is St. Vincent?
I'll pull shirts.
Okay. And what else do you do there? Is that about it?
That's it.
Okay. And what's one more thing you do at school?
Clean desk.
Okay. That's good. Do you have any friends at school?
Mm-hmm.
Do you know their names?
Yeah. Sarah.
Okay. Anyone else? That's the only friend?
No, Sarah.
Just Sarah?
Sarah.
Just Sarah?
Sarah and
Can't remember? That's okay. But do you have more than one friend?
Yes.
Okay, that's good. Let's work on those names, okay?
Okay.
Remember I told you if they're going to be a friend, you got to know their name, okay?
Yes.
Okay. What do you do outside of school? What do you like to do when you're not at school?
I don't know.
Well, what do you normally do on Fridays? What were you supposed to do today, but it got canceled?
Go do recycling.
No, outside of school. What do you normally do? So, what do you do when you're not at school? What do you do? On Fridays, what do you do?
On Newman's?
No. Not schools. Separate from school. For fun. Outside of school, what do you do on Friday? Like Friday nights. Sorry.
Bowling.
There we go. Okay. Do you enjoy it?
Yeah.
Do you have friends there?
Yeah.
Do you remember any names?
Andrew.
Okay, you remember Andrew?
Yeah.
Anyone else? It's okay if you can't.
Matthew.
Okay, you do remember. Okay,
Yeah.
Matthew. Anyone else?
That's it.
That's all you remember? Okay, that's good. Do you enjoy it?
Yes.
What's your favorite thing about bowling?
Getting a strike.
Oh, getting a strike? You get a lot of strikes?
Yes.
Okay. So what do you do on Saturdays?
Go swimming.
Okay. And what is your favorite thing about swimming?
Learn how to swim.
Say it one more time.
Learn how to swim.
Okay, awesome. What are 3 things that you do at home?
Washing dishes.
Okay. What's another one? That's 1. Let's do 2.
Washing clothes.
Okay, what's another one?
Clean my room.
Okay. And what are you good at? Are there certain things you're really good at? What is James really good at? What do you do very well? Can you think of one thing you do very well? What do you do very well? One thing you do very well. It's okay if you don't know.
I don't know.
Okay, we can come back to that one. Um, is it hard to talk sometimes?
Yes.
Do you know why it's hard? Why is it hard to talk? Do you know why? You need me to help you?
Yeah.
Okay. It's hard to talk sometimes because.
Because.
Mm-hmm.
Because.
Because.
You have trouble speaking up.
Say it one more
You
time.
have trouble speaking up.
You have trouble speaking up?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Why do you think that is?
I don't know.
You don't know? Just is?
Yep.
Okay. What do you do when you need help?
Ask my teachers.
And do you ask anyone else?
Mm-hmm.
Who else?
Mr. Matt.
No, when you're so that's at school, you ask your teachers.
Uh-huh.
When you're not at school, who do you ask?
I ask Miss Julia.
Okay. When you're at home, who do you ask?
Mom.
Okay. Anyone else?
Okay.
Okay. What makes you happy? Anything make you happy? What makes James smile and happy? What makes you happy?
See you.
Sing me?
Yeah.
Thank you, sweetie.
Yeah.
I did not make him say that. I did not. Anything else? Anything else makes you happy?
Sun.
The sun?
Yeah.
Oh, that makes me happy too. You saw the sun a lot this week, huh?
Yes.
Anything else makes you happy? You think that's it?
That's it.
Okay. What makes you sad? Anything make you sad? Sad. Anything make you sad?
I don't know.
No, you don't know. Okay, that's okay. Tell me 3 things about James.
Smart young man.
Oh, okay. Next. Second thing about James. Smart young man is the first one.
Young man.
Second one.
Say one.
It's the second thing you tell me about James. He is a smart young man. That's true.
He
What else?
helps others.
He helps others. That's correct. What's the third thing you tell me about James?
I work
Yeah, you work what?
hard.
You do. That's right. Well, those are all the questions I had. Do you want to ask me any questions?
How old are you?
How old am I?
Yeah.
I am 44 years old. Any other questions?
What are you doing?
I am recording a video. I'm actually recording a video for, like how you watch your videos on YouTube.
Yeah.
I have a YouTube channel and it's about autism. And I wanted to talk about our experiences with autism, and I wanted people to see you and see you speak and tell us about yourself. That's what I'm doing. What do you think about that?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you like that?
Yeah.
Do you think you'd come back on my channel?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I think people will like that. Is there anything else you want to ask me?
How's my dad? How's your daddy?
How's my day?
Yeah.
Oh, my day was pretty good actually. Wasn't too busy. But I got a lot of work done. I work from home today, so that's good. Is there anything else you want to ask me?
That's it.
That's it? Those are very good questions. I didn't expect that at all. Thank you for joining me for this.
You're welcome.
All right. That's it. That's all I wanted. Thank you. Hugs. Thank you, Pumpkin.
You're welcome.
All right. I hope you enjoyed the interview with James. And I hope this isn't too drastic of a jump scare because, as you can see, I have a better camera. I'm in HD. Hopefully that is not a scare because you can see every line and crevice in my face. But might consider some makeup next time. But wanted to just recap his interview really quickly before I get into the topic for today. I basically just went in cold so you can get the most authentic version of him and see kind of how he talks, how he communicates, how I interact, how I try to prompt him for things and stuff like that. So I just before we start, I just asked him, hey, do you mind if I record you asking or record me asking you questions? And he said yes. So we went in his room, went in his safe space, so that he was comfortable and relaxed. And yeah, that's pretty much how an interaction is with him on the daily basis. Sometimes a little more talkative than others, but for the most part, that's his communication level. As far as me asking him like the names of people, like friends, sometimes he has trouble remembering names. If he remembers your name, you're very, very, very special to him. But on the same token, I also push him to try to remember names of people that he does consider friends, um, and also people that help him on the daily basis, like staff at school, teachers. Just making sure you, especially parapros, because they do a lot of work with our kids. So making sure that he understands and he remembers their name. And usually like around Christmas time, I usually try to buy staff and like teachers, parapros. I usually try to buy the whole staff some type of gift of some sort. So having those names is helpful because that does help me out when I'm trying to buy gifts. um but just knowing who helps you and just respecting them enough to at least know their name so we can thank them properly. um I did not expect him to ask me questions back. I just asked that to see what happens. Um, that's actually really a big deal for him. I have been noticing that he has been trying to initiate conversations a little bit more. And I think that's part of him, learning how to do that and trying to figure out how to do that. Him being able to ask me questions. I didn't like tell him to ask me questions. I just literally asked in the moment. So yeah, that's actually, I'm really proud of him for doing that. So yeah, that was really good. I'm glad you got to see it. Today I wanted to go more into, so last episode I talked about the early years. I'm gonna fast forward, bring you to present day, or really like just the adult transition process. Um, I would say adult transition started pretty much in middle school. You're, I want to say, a seventh grade. Yes, around seventh grade. When you do your IEP, you're faced with a decision depending on how your child is progressing as a special needs student. Um, the decision that you have to make is, do they stay on the path for a high school diploma, or do they go on the path of a certificate of completion? And I think I have mentioned before the difference between the two. So with a certificate of completion, that allows your special needs child to receive, well, in Michigan, to receive services until they're the age 26. So that could be like adult transition programs, any type of special needs services that the district offers. You're able to tap into those until the age 26, and it's no cost. So that's huge because the cost of trying to pay for private adult transition programs or any type of programs can be very expensive. Trust me, I've done the legwork and looked into a lot of them just to supplement programs. Um, but it's kind of, you feel like in that moment, of course, that IEP is another crying IEP. When you have to make that decision, it kind of feels like you're giving up a little bit. But then you have to take a step back. It's like, well, what am I giving up on? Because I know where he's at cognitively, and I know where he's at as far as trying to do the schoolwork and like on a mainstream level. And I know what he can do, I know what he can't do. Why am I fighting so hard to put him through trying to get a high school diploma when clearly he's telling me that he's not able to do it? And what's going to be best for him? So you have to make that decision in the state of Michigan. We don't have another option. There's not another option in Michigan to have those type of students earn a high school diploma. Um, so you have to pick the other option, and with that option, you figure out the best path for them. Um, I mean, it would be great to have a way that he could still earn a high school diploma, or there's a way or a path to that, but that's just not a thing in Michigan. You pick one or the other, and you just hope that your decision is the right decision, which I feel it was given the choices, because I, I he he has done so much better as far as becoming, like, learning independence, learning more of those life skill things, being outside of just trying to jam them in mainstream, and having him be more so part of the kind of one-on-one special education programs and autism programs at the school, and really having him benefit from that. And I feel like that was the right choice for us. Some parents, like if you have more of a high functioning child, um, that make sense for you, and you should definitely go for it if you feel your child's able to do it. But it was just at some point, it's like he's telling me that he can't do it. He's literally telling me this. So it was the decision you have to make, unfortunately, at the middle school level. So that's where your brain starts to think about, because you're starting to make adult decisions in middle school. So your brain has to start thinking about adult transition at that point. And it's also at that point where the school provided me with, and it was a turning 18 checklist. So like all the things you have to do in order to, like, when they turn 18, essentially. Some things you can do like before, but I'm gonna kind of go through some of the things that were on that list, to help you kind of get an understanding of the type of things I'm talking about that we have to like work through. So, like the first thing was like figuring out adult transition program. Like I said, luckily with the certificate of completion option for his school, he has an adult transition program available to him through the school district, which he's in. That's the school he goes to now, where he learns more life skill type things, independence, social skills, learning how to do a job, learning how to stay on schedule, like all those necessary life skills. He's getting those one-on-one trainings for that, and he could stay in that program until he's 26. Likely, most students, after like maybe a year or 2 years, they actually go on to either they get a job or they do something else that they don't have to stay in the program that long, but it is available to you. The other thing is get state ID. Um, it's really tough. I hate to always be the lowest being autism parent, but when you get to around 15, 16, and your friends have like 15, 16-year-olds too, and they're all talking about driver's training and getting driver's license, and it's like, yeah, he's not going to be able to drive. And the thing is, he doesn't really want to either, so that's kind of, it's not like I'm breaking his heart by telling him, like, he he doesn't have all the skills that you need to be a driver. He gets distracted really easy. He can't communicate. So if he gets into an accident, he's gonna and if anything goes wrong, he's gonna freak out. And his like I said, he gets easily distracted, doesn't pay attention sometimes. You don't want that person behind a whatever ton vehicle. So yeah, you just don't. And then a lot of times he falls asleep in the car. So yeah, it's just not a skill set. So actually got him a state ID when he turned 16. I just figured I'd just get it out the way, and just something that we do when we went to get a state ID. They asked us, "Oh, do you want an enhanced ID instead of just a regular state ID?" I'm like, "Yeah, sure, why not?" I didn't know that with getting an enhanced ID, there's a battery of questions that they have to ask the person that's getting the ID in order to for them to validate like the information on their birth certificate. Um, and instantly I went, "Oh shit!" So I'm gonna cuss on this thing. So that's my first cuss word. Because it was oh shit moment, because they're asking him questions that I know he's not gonna know, and he can't like verbalize it. And like when you're asking him a bunch of questions that he doesn't know the answer to, he kind of gets he not kind of he does get anxious. I didn't want him to have like any type of anxious like episode or meltdown or anything. We're at the Secretary of State. Just wanted this to be as smooth as possible. That's where you go into like our world is normal to us until you step outside of our bubble. So we're outside of our bubble. So they're asking questions like, "Oh, what time were you born?" Or "What's your mom's middle name?" Or "What's your dad's birthday?" Or no, "What's your dad's middle name?" Which he knew that because they have the same name. So that wasn't too. But before she even started, I said, "Okay, look, and what I'm about to say, I normally don't say when we're in a public setting. If someone comes to talk to him, I usually don't tell him that he has autism. I don't, like I said, I don't out him. That's how I used to refer to it. But I was like, I had to push the panic button, like, hey, yo, listen here. He has autism, so I don't know what you're gonna ask him. There's likely gonna be things he's not gonna be able to answer. And if you're telling me I can't help him, I'm not sure how this is gonna go. She's okay, well, we'll just try our best. And like I thought, she was asking him questions, and he's like just deer in headlights. And then he's getting more and more anxious as the questions are going on. And so I just kind of grab his hand and kind of squeeze his hand. That's been like our mechanism since he was a little boy of, if he's nervous or he's getting anxious, that he wants me to squeeze his hand. Like, if we're in public and you just kind of see us out in public, you might see me holding his hand, like we're in a crowd. He might see me holding his hand. He'll grab my hand and ask me to squeeze it just discreetly, like squeeze my hand. And I say, "Do you need a squeeze?" And he says, "Yes." And that, relaxes him. It's like a massage. Just something we learned like a long time ago, of a way to kind of help relax and calm him. So he did the hand thing. So I'm like squeezing his hand. We were able to get through it. I guess he was answer enough questions so they didn't think he was a terrorist. And he was given a state ID. Um, the next thing on the turning 18 list is opening up a bank account, which something I should have done a long time ago, but just never really thought about it. So, also opening up a bank account, and I'll get to the reason why I ended up opening that in a minute. But open up a bank account, pretty easy to do. Same situation of well, with him being a teenager and being special needs, I actually opened him up like one of those teen bank accounts where you can kind of monitor everything. It was all online, so I can monitor spending. I can get alerts when like he spends money or he uses a debit card or things like that. So it provided a way for me to like really keep tabs on and still keep tabs on it. Um, they also talked about with you being a special needs parent if you want to do a power of attorney or guardianship. And I guess I don't want to get too deep into that because, like I always say, I'm not an expert. I can only just tell you about my experience. But from my understanding of the power of attorney, it is easier to transfer power of attorney than a guardianship situation. So, for example, if I was to just be power of attorney over him, and he goes out in the world and he meets some random person that he is his friend, and that person tells James, well, let me be your power of attorney. And James can agree to have that person be his power of attorney and sign over the rights to this person, and I can't do anything about it, is my understanding. With a guardianship, you actually have to go to court, have a judge awarded. It's just more it's more security, more binding, and he can't be easily talked out of it because it's you're awarded for a certain year, and if nothing goes wrong, there are no issues, you can reapply and keep applying for it every 5 years. So the guardianship portion was the right decision for us because um just because of the type of special needs and autism he has, it was just clear like that's the better one, that it's easier to do, or not easier, but it was an easier decision to make to do the guardianship. Um, they also talked about looking into. Oh, before I get to that, you have to sign them if you have a male. Um, you have to sign them up for selective service, which is scary. He's like, oh crap, really? So, but yeah, because males have to when they turn 18 sign up for selective service. Now, I'm gonna tell you, if war breaks out and they call him, it, I don't think it's good. Things aren't going really well. So just yeah. Because I told you about issues with fine motor skills, issue with sensories. Like he's not a person that could be in combat or any type of war or military situation. So hopefully that wouldn't be a thing. But that is something that you have to do. You have a male that's 18. Um, then the other thing that was on the turning 18 list is looking into applying for SSI because they're special needs. Because right now he's not employable really right now, so he's learning. We're building up the skills so that he can become employable. But until that happens, we applied for SSI. He was given SSI, so he has some income to take care of his basic needs. Like I had mentioned before, like different activities he can do, pay for like his haircuts. I always say like my boy got to be crisp. Like he got to be crisp. He has to look nice. You can't have autism and look busted. Like it can't be both. So you gotta be clean in these streets. So he gets nice haircuts. He pays for like his like basic his snacks and everything. Like he can order that, any of his toiletries. So any of his like basic needs, he's able to use that to pay for it. Also, we're going to there's a program, a summer program that it's like an independence camp program. It's a day camp, but they kind of teach those skills that he learns in school. So like in the summer, he can do another program to kind of even help him even further. So we're gonna like leverage that money to help pay for that. So that's good. Um, yeah, it's just like I said, you get that list in middle school, and I don't know about how many parents are really thinking about. It's just it's weird because you have to start planning someone else's life in middle school. Is that normal for everyone else? Because I don't feel it is. And every decision you make at that point, the point of where we have to decide if it's a high school diploma or certificate of completion, we got to decide that like in seventh grade. And every decision you make from that point on is like life changing. You're planning out someone else's life with someone who can't necessarily weigh in all the time. You can ask them and explain, like, I'll ask him, what do you think of this? And I'll try to explain the decision I'm trying to make so that he at least understands. I'm trying not to just make things blindly. Like, even with programs that I look into and want to sign him up for, I'll ask him like, I found this particular program. I try to explain to what it is, and this is the type of things you're doing. Would you be interested in that? So I'm just not throwing him into stuff. I want him to be as part of the process as he can and make sure he understands all the decisions we're making. But like I said, you got to make these decisions with someone who may not necessarily understand everything. So every decision you make is super important starting in seventh grade. So um, yeah, I just always find that interesting. Like just planning a whole person's life starting in seventh grade is like yikes. Um, so to that point, um, when he does a transition IEP when he's a senior. So that's like our last IEP we do in high school is a transition IEP, and that's basically setting him up for his adult transition program, and that goes over like the type of skills that they're going to train him on in the adult transition program. And they set pretty much the same thing they do with every IEP. They set goals and things they want to work on. By this time, we want him to be able to do this. By this time, we want him to be able to do that. So this is his first year doing this program, and so far it's going well. Um, so with all this stuff, I'm basically managing two adults, myself, which I barely manage, and then his life. So in order to keep that all straight, I got one of these really fancy accordion binder things, and I just got so much paperwork about guardianship, SSI from school, healthcare stuff, me just finding random stuff in research, and I just want to put it all in one place so that when he has to go to like to the doctor, or we have to go to like an appointment for IEP, or we have to go to an appointment for I don't know a program I'm looking into, I have it all there and I can just reference it at my fingertips. So it's more so like just a tangible way for me to just feel like I have control, I guess. I do have like electronic versions of most of the stuff that's in there, but it's just something that I can just, if I'm on the go, I can just grab it and know that I have everything I need to talk about him, or reference anything is at my fingertips. So it's just helpful for me. You might find something, you might be a person that more just wants to keep everything digital. That's great. Like I do both really, but that binder really is like, me mentally thinking that I have things in control because it's in the binder. Um, One thing I didn't mention, going back to 11th grade, our school introduced us to MRS, which is Michigan Rehabilitation Services. In 11th grade, they opened a file with Michigan Rehabilitation Services, and they're an organization that their job is solely to help people with special needs find employment. That's one of the many things they do, but that's the main thing. We were working with them, and what they did was, um, when they open up the file, they also actually send like someone to the school to help kind of work with him on different job skills, and just trying to understand like what his skill set is like for what type of jobs he can do. Another part of that is they have a summer work program for teenagers with special needs, and he was able to participate in 2 summers. So in the 11th grade and 12th grade, he did that for 2 summers, where he actually worked at a retail store. One year he worked at Meyer, another year he worked at Big Lots, and they give them actual jobs in the store. He's paid minimum wage, so he earns a paycheck for the summer. I believe it was 8 weeks. Yeah, 8 weeks each summer. Um, and then afterwards, they send a report showing how he did. Um, you know, things that do they feel that he's ready for just independent employment, and any suggestions moving forward. So that actually helps you to, when you have that from the summer, when you're going into the school year, it helps you write the IEP, because okay, he actually we had him in an actual work setting. This is what he did. This is what he could do. This is what he couldn't do. These are the things we need to work on to actually get him to a point where he can be employable, and hopefully be employable and not have to have support. Um, so that was really a good, great opportunity for him, and to really just have him understand what it is to have a job, what it is to earn money. And he's actually really good with his money, where he doesn't really spend it. So, um, with the money he earned from the 2 summers, he actually held on to that quite a bit. And then with him turning 18 and graduating, we had a party for him, so he got a lot of money from that. So he had a pretty decent sized bank account for a minute, where we like I said, using that to buy his basic needs, and he like his snacks. He only eats like for breakfast. He only eats oatmeal usually, and he eats trail mix and like fruit bars. Pretty healthy eater. Um, so pretty much anything non-perishable, that he can purchase on his own. I set him up an Amazon account. I actually set him up an Amazon account that's like they have a setting where you can set it up as a child account. It's linked to your Amazon account, so if he goes on there and orders anything, he can place his order and submit it. I actually get the order. I can review it and approve or decline it before it actually goes and is charged and goes off. So that's been great. That's been helping him, like I said, order like his basic stuff like non-perishable food. Also like toiletries like body wash, face wash, lotion, deodorant, and then sometimes he'll buy socks or just all the things that you can pretty much think of to buy on Amazon. He's pretty responsible. He doesn't just buy whatever. He like usually will buy if he's out. He sees he's out of something or low on something. He'll just go on there and order it, and then I'll get the notification that James ordered this. Do you approve? Yes or no? I'll review it, and then it's good to go. So that's been working out really well so far, with just helping him kind of manage money and just manage how to purchase things on his own. Still kind of working through like purchasing like actually at a store. Um, I need to actually have him do that more. We've done it like anytime I'm with him, I have him do like his own purchase, but just working on when you go to a cashier, how are you doing? When they give the total, are you going to use your card? Or figure out if you're going to use your card or you're going to use cash. Have your wallet ready. Like just all the things that go into like doing a transaction with the person. We have to work on that a little bit more, but we'll get there. Um, so I talked about that. Another thing is like self care things. And throughout the years, I've implemented different things to help him with his self care, like being able to wash himself properly, being able to know how to pick out his clothes, um, knowing if he has to iron something, knowing if something needs to be washed. So throughout the years, he's kind of developed those skills pretty well. A few things that I've gotten him over the years is, um, I mentioned his grip's not very good, so trying to clip his fingernails isn't the easiest with a fingernail clipper. So I was able to find a clipper that has grips on it. I'll put it right there. Yeah, I have the camera's back. It's reversed. I'll put it over there, but it's like a nail clipper with these special grippers on it that he can really take control of it, and it gives that proper leverage that he can actually clip his fingernails. So that way the onus is on him to be able to like do that and take care of it. I don't want to still be clipping 18-year-old fingernails or 20 something year old fingernails. So I want him to be able to do that when he needs that, anytime he needs that. So I have that. And I was able to his skin is kind of he's had random skin issues over the years. It was a moment in time where he had eczema, but he hasn't had like a flare up since then. So it was like a random thing, and then he's had kind of just different skin ailments over the years. And it really is about his it gets the skin gets dry, but then it's also like when you don't really kind of scrub and you still leave like dead skin. So I was able to find like an exfoliating scrubber. I'll also see if I can find that and I'll put it up there. But I just found it in the store where it's basically has like a band on it where he can put it around his hand, and it really kind of gives an extra scrub to what he's washing on himself. So that was able to help him with his skin. And anything, I always usually have him buy body wash that's in a pump. Him trying to squeeze body wash is not, it's hard for him to squeeze, so it's not really easy to do. So always a pump that helps with independence. Lotion's always in a pump that helps with independence. What else? Lip balm. It's the lip balm that's the Carmex that it's a squeeze Carmex, but it's like a soft squeeze, so it's easier to squeeze. So he's able to always. If you see him, he always has shiny lips, even in the video before he has shiny lips, because Carmex is always on there. Um, but yeah, I just wanted to go through kind of present day James and like where things are at, kind of things, accommodations we made for him, different things we had to kind of plan out, starting in middle school, and to today, and kind of how all those decisions help to kind of build upon where he's going to end up. We're still trying to figure that out. With the adult transition program, I think I mentioned before, he works at a thrift store twice a day. It's they only have him there for like maybe 2 hours twice a week. And they giving him assignment. Before that, he was at a grocery store and didn't really work out too well at the grocery store because of the complexities of all the different items that are at a grocery store. The thrift store they have him working at, it's more where he's working more in like the clothing area. So he's finding the different colored tags and pulling those and putting up new things and learning how to put stuff on hangers. And they said so far he's been pretty independent, as opposed to when he was at the grocery store. They had to really monitor him, really coach him, really. And I thought, and so as they were saying that, I was kind of getting a little discouraged, because I'm like, man, and I thought like, well, shoot, I have him do things at home and he does them pretty independently. So I had to kind of think, well, I had to go back in time. How did I get him to that point? And I had just create basic, like if I want him to do different tasks, I list out the tasks that I want him to do in the order I want him to do. But within each of those tasks, I'll give detailed description of how to do the task. For example, um, it was, I think, middle school, he would come home from school. I wanted to kind of have him busy himself until like we got home. So I would have him um, clean like the countertops and clean off the tables. So I'd explain, you use this particular cleaner for this particular cleaner for that. You spray it 3 times. You wipe until the cleaner is all gone, and you what did I put on there? The cleaner is all gone, and there are no marks or something on the table. So I would kind of break it down like that. So even showed that to his transition coordinator going into the thrift store job, and she kind of mimicked what I did before, and she said I think that helped quite a bit because he's able to get through that and know exactly what he's supposed to do, and he's kind of focused on that list. So yes, it's more of like he doesn't know what the routine is. So he's trying to if he doesn't know the routine, he's gonna keep looking at you like, what am I supposed to do next? What am I supposed to do next? Instead of like, and they weren't really teaching him a routine at the grocery store. They were more so like, well, this is the job, and I'm showing you how to do it. Just do what I do, and I don't. He doesn't always learn the best that way. So again, doing much better at the thrift store. We'll see how that turns out. I think those are all the high hard ones of adult transition. again, if there's anything specific you want me to dive deeper into, ask any questions, ask James any questions. I have him back. I'll need to figure out how to bring him back. He's not going to be here all the time. So, we'll see how we want to bring him in for particular things and get his opinion and his thoughts on things. But yeah, again, please subscribe and leave me any feedback or any questions, and we will talk to you soon.